Welcome back. I'm Sandy,
And I'm Andrew.
and we're here today to talk about intermittent fasting and how we adapted to it over the last 7 months. So, sweetheart, what do you think is the most important thing about our new way of eating?
Not eating.
Surprise! It's not about what you put into your mouth, it's about what you don't put into your mouth. And we found it pretty well. When we started out, how would you characterize it?
When we started out in January,
Yeah, the standard. We went from 3 meals. Go
went
ahead.
from 3 meals plus snacks, which really wasn't good. A lot of times we'd be eating just before we went to bed, which is also not a good thing. But after watching...
Which we have learned. We have learned that the less often that you eat throughout the day, the less often you spike your hormone insulin. Okay, and insulin, once it's been triggered, insulin only has two effects. Once it's triggered, it makes you fat storing. When it's not triggered, your body becomes fat burning. So the trick is not to trigger insulin. Most people today, the reason we have this diabetic epidemic is because people have hyperinsulinemia. You know, they have chronic carbohydrate overdose syndrome.
And many people who start fasting will greatly reduce their diabetes, if not even eliminate it, depending on
Some
how
people have
long they
reversed it.
are
It's something foodable,
and how
not
disciplined.
druggable, as Dr. Lustig would say.
Yeah.
So we were able to adapt to 2 meals a day pretty easily. It starts with fasting, right? And if you sleep 8 hours a night, that's a fast. You're not eating when you're sleeping. So say you have dinner at 7 o'clock the night before, and then you don't eat until 7 a.m. the next morning. That's 12 whole hours that you fasted. So it doesn't take much it didn't take much for us to put off breakfast, which is break fast. We always did like brunches better anyway, so eating at 10:30, 11 o'clock really suited us.
And it extended our fast.
Yes, so we would have what you would call a feeding window, a fasting window, a feeding window. We wouldn't eat for 16 to 18 hours, and then we would eat for 8 to 6 hours. Have our breakfast, brunch, and then dinner.
An early dinner.
And in my, in the first few months, I had the most dramatic weight loss, of course. In the first 2 months, I lost like 38 pounds. But then it took another 4.5 months to go down another 22 pounds, 23 pounds.
And because I was eating basically the same as Sandy, I was losing 4 to 5 pounds at a time.
And now he's gone down as far as he needs to go. So we're working on keeping his protein levels up so that he can rebuild his muscles and get his strength back and walk better than he's been walking.
And I find that after a fast, a good meal, I can wait another 6 to 8 hours before I eat another one.
Because we're not eating processed food, processed poison, or
Thank you.
sugar, that horrible toxin, anymore. We've gotten rid of our cravings for those kinds of foods, and we eat foods that are satisfying, that fill us up and keep us satisfied for 6 or 8 hours, or 24 until we eat again. And it wasn't until recently that I kicked up my weight loss a little by going down from 2 meals to 1 meal a day, and then even skipping a day, and eating every other day. And then all of a sudden I was able to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And it's like, oh, finally. off that plateau, as my body tends to be extremely efficient at being fat storing.
Now, you may not be able to tell from the screen here, but I've noticed a tremendous difference in Sandy, especially in the last month. I mean, she's moving better.
I'm not as achy. I don't have those arthritis-y kind of
and she's been
pains that
taking
were much
longer,
worse 5 months ago.
and she's been taking longer fasts than I have. And I think that's really made a big difference.
Yeah, because I'm trying to reach a state of autophagy, which is eat thyself. In other words, where fasting is a healthy thing for your body. Once you don't have any food in your digestive tract, then your body does maintenance. It does cleanup. It cleans out the attic. It cleans out the basement. It cleans out the garage. It cleans up old cells and dysfunctional fractured proteins or whatever the state is. Because, of course, Andrew and I, we're not medical professionals. This is just our experience. However, we have watched all the videos on YouTube by the medical professionals who we respect and trust. And you can too.
Well, I don't know if we should name names, but
Not this video.
But they've really made an impact on me. One specific doctor was over 300 pounds and morbidly obese, and he turned it around by fasting and by eating smart, eating good food.
Well, he went carnivore, and so he ate mostly meat with hardly any carbohydrates whatsoever.
He started out keto and then discovered carnivore was the way to go.
Oh, first it was paleo to keto to carnivore, and by describing that, if you watch any videos about those three subjects, you will probably have seen that doctor. So the doctors that we've watched who have shared their medical knowledge about ketogenics and
made an impact on us.
Yes, had a great impact on us. And I knew a lot about fasting already because I fasted for 3 weeks in the hospital when I had pancreatitis, an inflammation disorder that happened to me when I was 19 and resulted in my gallbladder being removed, which is why I'm so incredibly good at fat storing. I have trouble producing enough bile without a gallbladder to be able to digest fats properly or to be able to absorb fat-soluble vitamins. So now I'm on the proper supplements to supplement what I'm missing so that I can make enough bile and start to process all of this fat that's on my body.
And she's been giving me supplements, which I'm not very fond of taking. But I don't know if that's been helping me or not, but I like to think it's mainly my diet, the fact that I wait long times between eating.
And we could tell you about the supplements and the vitamins that we take in another video. But this one, I wanted to talk about how easy it is to fast. When I fast...
And how beneficial it is.
I lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks fasting in the hospital to get over pancreatitis. And they pretty much had me on tea, chicken broth, and beef bouillon broth. So that's pretty much a low carb, high fat, high protein diet, because they know that is what is necessary to heal metabolic diseases from too much insulin caused by too much carbohydrate consumption.
Something I found that helps during fast is to drink a lot of water. I mean, you'd be surprised.
You have to stay hydrated.
If it fills you up, you're not hungry.
Because you're going to get a hunger pang in the morning or maybe around noontime. But you know what? Drink a cup of tea or have a cup of coffee and it goes away. and then you're not hungry.
I used to put sugar in my coffee. Now I add a little salt, and it's fine.
Yeah, we have to be careful to make sure that we have enough of salt and potassium and trace minerals because
Magnesium.
I have experienced lightheadedness and a little bit of nausea when I've been, I haven't eaten and now I'm going to have a meal and I'm furiously cooking and, it's summer, I get hot in the kitchen, I start sweating, and then all of a sudden I start getting lightheaded and nauseous before I'm going to eat. So,
Whereas
but
I'm
if
usually,
those are the worst symptoms I'm having, that's not too bad.
whereas I'm usually sitting
And
there
it goes away pretty quick.
smelling what she's cooking, and my stomach starts to growl, and it's like, time to eat, time to feast.
Yes, and we enjoy what we're eating now, and we could talk about that in another video. But I am looking forward to fasting more in the future. Christians do it for Lent, the Islamics do it for Ramadan, Hindus do it for certain occasions. It's like all major religions have fasting as a spiritual component to empty out, the physical toxins and stuff in your body so that you can concentrate. Actually, fasting sharpens your focus and your mental acuity.
It really does. It really
Yeah.
does.
So,
Also, it makes my brain start working. I get all these ideas.
so we're quite happy with it. I don't feel deprived. My grandmother used to fast at different times when she was ill. And, it's like, well, if she stopped eating for a couple of days, she felt better. And that's what is it? The old philosophers like Pythagoras and Socrates, they fasted and they required their students to fast. They didn't think that their students would be able to concentrate appropriately on their philosophical principles without fasting.
There have been times in the past when I was younger and I would get a virus where I could not keep anything down. And I was not eating anything for like 3 days. A little bit of water, that's all I could take. But after that, I was fine. I actually fasted without realizing it for like 3 days. And I got over whatever made me sick in that amount of time. It was amazing.
It gives your body a chance to heal itself. We don't have to put more in. We have to resist that impulse. My mother, rest her soul, she was very concerned about health, but she was always looking for the magic pill, the magic supplement that would make up for her not exercising and eating crap. And she had eczema and psoriasis, and dandruff, autoimmune things, vitamin B deficiencies.
She was very kind and generous, and we loved her.
And I miss her very much.
But she was a little misguided in her diet.
She did it her way. And now Andrew and I are doing it our way. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.